turn it off for you.
Hey, just want to make sure you're in the game.
Should we give everybody a minute or should we get started?
Get started.
4 minutes late? Oh, okay.
Amen.
Okay, so, hey, thanks for coming, everyone. So, my desire today is to throw the whole open house concept, what you're thinking, completely out of the window. Just kind of like, so just a little bit about me. I got my real estate license about 10 and a half years ago. I got it on a Wednesday. And I remember I did an open house that Saturday with an agent. We put 2 signs out. We had one person come, and I made a decision way back then that I was going to do it completely different. So that week, next week, I went out and bought 25 signs on a credit card and decided that my open houses are going to be far different than anyone has ever done open houses. It's something that I'm really passionate about, the whole open house. I'll just say this, if you're not wired up to do an open house, I can't convince you anymore to do them or not to do them. I love doing open houses more than anything that I've ever done. Like I said, I've done over 1,000 open houses. Would do sometimes 4 a weekend, doing from 10 to 1 and from 2 to 5. It was just something that I was just passionate about. And part of the things that I was, the other company I've worked with, I put anywhere from 30 to 50 signs out every open house. And not only did I put 30 to 50 signs out, I had 2 balloons per sign. The other company I was with, they paid for all the balloons. So it was a lot easier. And it was, if you saw my car, you could not see out of the car. But I was very passionate about open houses and doing open houses. And, the longest I've gone is 9 days in a row with doing a 3-hour open house. It's, to do it all the time is very life-changing for that. So let me ask you a question. Why do you do open houses?
To find clients.
To find clients.
Buyers and sellers.
Find buyers and sellers.
To promote your listing.
To promote your listing.
To get feedback on the seller stuff.
To give feedback on the seller stuff. I'm going to throw some things that you're going to say. I'm going to ask the question. If your question is to get buyers and sellers, when's the best time to do an open house? The typical agent is going to say Saturday from 11 till 3. That's the typical what everyone says. If you're looking for buyers, you get buyers. You do open houses basically from 12 to 3. So that means you're going to do it when everybody else is doing it. Have you ever done an open house and then you have tons of people at your house and they're just going to the next one? You don't even have time to talk to the people. So my thinking is this. You don't do open houses when everybody else is doing it. Because if you're doing when everybody else is doing it, you're competing for buyers at the same time. So my thing is, hey, try to do them when everybody's not doing open houses. Like I said, I've done many open houses over the years and I've had many people. And one of the things that I've learned that buyers who are really serious, and if they don't want to tell you that they're really serious about this, they will sneak out when you're talking to somebody else. They will sneak out when you're kind of giving information to somebody else. So why do we do open houses? We do them to get buyers, to be on the same page. The best time to do an open house, people ask me all the time, you've seen it, just do it. To me, there's not a good time or a bad time to do an open house. The worst time is when you don't do them. I mean, I've done open houses. There's 5 days that you don't want to do an open house. Just so you know. You want to do it the rest of the year. You don't want to do it on Christmas. You don't want to do it on Thanksgiving. You don't want to do it on Easter. You don't want to do it on a Valentine's Sunday. I did one time on a Valentine's Sunday, and everyone that came to the open house felt sorry for me, like, get a life, type of thing. So that you just want to keep on doing it at all times, and then you don't want to do it on Mother's Day. Those are the 5 days that you don't want to do open houses. But any other day you want to do it. The best open house that I ever had was the very first year that I got in real estate. I did it the day after Christmas fell on a Friday. I did an open house Saturday, Sunday. And then I did it the following week, New Year's Day and the day after. I had over 100 people both of those days. It was an unbelievable thing. The reason why is because no one else was doing open houses.
Well, people aren't working those days.
People are working those days. So I look at, here, I'm going to try to do open houses when other people aren't doing them. Another thing is, you go, where should I do open houses?
Wherever your listings are.
Me, I'm going to do it in 6 or 8 zip codes. I'm going to do, for me, I'm going to do it in an area where I live and where I work. I can tell you what zip codes that I would look at. I would get in there and just start looking. I'll go A4102, A4103, A4105, A4106, A4108, A4109, and A4117, and A4115. And that's where I would do the zip code. That's where I would do the open house. If you said, Jack, man, you seem like you're great at open houses, will you do an open house out in Harriman? I don't want a client from Harriman. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Jack, I'll take your client from Harriman. The thing is, you say, Jack, did you do that from the get-go? From the get-go, I focused in on the same area that I'm still doing now 10 years later. And to me, the reason why I do that is because if I did an open house in Sugar House this Saturday, and then next week do one out in Harriman next Saturday, and the week after that I do one out in West Valley, the people in Sugar House are not going to remember me. They're going to drive by and they're going to go, oh gosh, there's Shane, I'm going to stop and talk to him. They're not going to remember Jack Perry the week before. So that's the reason why, to me, it's very important that you have a purpose with your open houses. And to me, if you're going to do open houses across the entire valley, I can say this, you're probably going to struggle in real estate. Because your farm area is that, it's the whole valley. I don't want a buyer out in Harriman. The reason why is because I don't know Harriman. I tell people this, if your agent uses the GPS system, fire the guy, fire the woman. You're thinking, Jack, I can't believe that you just said it. So if you don't know, when I show homes, I don't use the GPS. The only time I use the GPS is if I don't know where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know the area. And to me, it's the open houses are the same thing. Because if my people say, hey, will you run comps for me? I'm not going home that night and spending 3 hours on the computer running comps. I'm giving you comps because I know the area. And I think you got to be, man, if you're in West Jordan, that's your focus. You focus those 6 or 8 zip codes around it, then you don't kind of go in everywhere, because if you go everywhere, I'm telling you, it's going to be really hard. And so it's really important. So that you got to remember that as people come to your open house and as you meet people, every single person is coming for a reason. And they say, hey, we're just looking, we haven't decided. So I heard this by Ben Kinney, and I use it in my open houses. People come to open houses for 2 reasons. And once you understand these two reasons, it is very easy to understand. They come because they're a buyer looking to buy a home. Or the other thing that the reason they come to open houses is because they want to know how much their home is worth. And the next question is, are you selling? But people say, hey, I'm just looking. And I get that. I think some people do that. But man, I think there's a deep down reason why they're looking. They just don't want to tell you that, hey, they're looking to buy a house. And some of you say, Jack, do you use the sign-in sheet? How do you do it? I used to do the sign-in sheet. And I would say, hey, before coming into the house, will you please sign in? And, you try to get it to read their writing, and you try to get it, and then you go after them. I don't do that as much anymore, just because after being in it all this time, to me, open houses are around. It's all about a relationship, and I want the people to use me because of a relationship, not for a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a vast difference with it. I mean, I have my clients, it's a relationship. And I really try to, the people that at open house, there's some people that come to my open house, I wouldn't want to go show homes to. Because, they just don't seem like fun to do that. So as you meet the people, it's about a relationship.
So you give those to Michael?
I give them to other people, yeah. So this is what I do. Every single person that comes to my open house, I always ask him, hey, where are you from? It is the very first question that I ask them. Because if they're not from Utah, I've been there. Yeah, maybe I haven't, but I make it seem like I've been there. For example, somebody that comes to my open house, about a year ago, this guy came wearing a Detroit Tigers baseball hat. I talked to that guy, and he probably thought, man, Jack's probably been to Detroit a bunch of times. I've never been to Detroit, but I try to connect with the people to find out where they're coming. If they say, hey, they're from Tennessee, I say, oh, my brother lives there. If they say they're from the East Coast, I say, oh yeah, I was born and raised on the East Coast. If they say they're from Seattle, I said, oh, I've been to vacation there a few times. If they say they've been to Dallas, from Dallas, I said, hey, I've been to the airport a few times. I'm just trying to think of a way that I can connect with the people on a deeper basis. And if they say they've been born and raised in Utah, I try to come up with a way how I connect with it. Is there something about, hey, do they live in the area where I went? Do they go to the school where my kids went? What is the connection? Because I really want it to be about a relationship. And as I talk to the people, and as I do the open houses, and then you go, Jack, how long should you do open houses? I do every open house for a minimum of 3 hours. The reason why is because if I'm putting 30 signs out, that takes a lot of time. And you go, Jack, how do you dress for open houses? This is what I wear. On a good day, bad day, this is what I do. I have people that come to my open houses just to want to see what shirt I'm wearing. And they'll say, Jack, I just was in the area, I saw your sign, I just wanted to see what shirt you were wearing. I mean, it was just, and so it's kind of, it's going to be, and so it's the same thing every time, and it's like, so when rain, snow, or shine, I work with both my kids. One's an agent, one's our technology person. It's a lot of fun to work with them. But probably one of the most upset times I got is when Michael had been doing real estate for about 6 months, 9 months, we were doing an open house together. It was rainy. And he had to go home and make his hair look nice for the open house because it got wet. I was like, you gotta be kidding. I've done open houses for some 8, 9 years, and I've never had to go home because my hair got a little messed up. It was just, I was like, you have gotta be kidding. And it was just, so when you do the open houses, like I said, when you do an open house, if you're gonna do it, do it right. What I mean by put a lot of signs out, have a lot of fun with it, and it's like, every single open house, I probably spend about 15 to 20 minutes visualizing where my signs are going to be. That is the reason why I don't do hearing, because I'm going to have to drive out there and figure it out. But I visualize before my open house exactly where the signs are going to be. And there, to me, and you say, Jack, you're a little bit over the edge on it. If I know an agent is doing an open house, but my sign is going to be, say my open house is here, and they're putting their signs out here, and I'm going to put my signs out here, and I'm going to direct them to their open house, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to redirect it because I don't want them going to that open house. And so with the open house, every time I stop my car, it's a bare minimum, you got to put at least 2 signs out. There's 2 signs every single week. So last week, I won't say the company, they were doing this, it's called Quantum Open House. They were doing it on 33rd South, and they had a lot of signs out, probably 30 or 40 signs out. I was so confused which direction the open house was at. Because they had open houses with the arrows pointed up. That means that if you're driving down the street, the open house is that way, but the open house was that way. Because I figured out I drove around and figured out where it was, and I wanted to go talk to the people and say, this is so confusing. Because to me, it was so confusing where it was. Did you see the signs? Oh.
No, I was just saying that would be confusing.
Yeah, and so it's really, as you put the signs out, think this way. Do not think like you're an agent. That you'll see. You'll start looking at open house now, signs, and you'll go, what was that person thinking? So when you put your open houses, think of somebody who's driving down the street, is not thinking about going to an open house, and then they see your signs. Do you see? You got to think different, because if you're just going to put them out, I mean, I've gone around after our team and moved the signs. It's like, say you're going down the street and they have the sign should be right here. They have it more over there. They have it like 5 feet too far to the right. And I will stop and move it, just people on our team. I'm not gonna do it for you guys if I see your sign. I will stop and move that sign closer to the curb where people are seeing. When people are driving down the street, they're not looking over here on somebody's front lawn over here. They're looking down the street. So when you put your signs out, all our signs on our team, it has the open house, and it has Perry Group on it, and then it has my phone number. You say, Jack, I'm not going to join your team because I don't want your phone number on that thing. There's only 2 reasons why I've ever gotten calls about the open house. Couldn't find it. That means that the signage is not good. They saw a sign and then they disappeared. And the other time that I've only gotten a call, it's Sunday night at 9 o'clock at night, pitch dark, snowing outside. They know there's not an open house, so somebody will call me and say, hey, Jack, you left one of your signs out. It's just, so as you put the signs out, you gotta think the average Joe driving down the street, driving to the grocery store. But we think as agents, I'm just gonna stick signs out and they're gonna see it. So let me ask you a question, raise a hand. How many have seen my open house signs? So not all of you.
You do the same problem?
I mean, that's like, I mean, you think about it, so I'm not doing a good job there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you should see, every hand should have gone up, saying, hey, I see Jack's signs, I see the Prairie Group signs everywhere. So as you put the signs out, you gotta do at least 20. But I would say do 30. I would say do 40. You know, so it's like, you know, and it is really, there really is some strategy behind it. And so, like, say if I have an open house up here off of 13th, I will put 30 to 40 signs so that people that are driving in that area can't miss it. I want
that Liberty Wells.
What's that?
I said I followed your sign from Liberty Wells all the way to like Sugar House.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like, so people will follow it and people will see it, but you gotta put the signs up. Every once in a while, I'll get a call from either somebody I've sold a house to or another agent say, Jack, I met your competition. They put 30 signs out today. I said, give them about a month or two and they won't be doing it anymore. Because it is really hard. But as you put the signs out, you got to think of how somebody else is driving down the street. Don't think that you're an agent. You know how you do now as you're driving down the street? You're just looking for real estate signs. Before you got in real estate, you didn't look. You didn't look. And then please, if you're going to put open house signs out, please pick them all up. There's nothing worse than drives me crazy. And somebody has it here on 7th East, 27th South. They have an open house sign. There it's 24 hours a day. So if you're going to put signs up, man, let's respect other people. Because you know what? I think we as agents, I don't think we should be allowed to stick all of our signs out like we do. You know, you see these for sale signs? This is just me kind of it doesn't have to record this, but you see these people with these for sale signs pointing that direction? They're out all the time, you've seen it? What would happen if every single one of you were not in real estate and you had your own business? You had a cooking service, you had a landscaping, you had a window cleaning, you had a car repair. Could you imagine everybody in this room getting signs made and stick them on people's lawns? Oh, you want your windows clean? Call this number. You want your car clean? Call this number. Could you imagine if we all put signs out? You know, we think as agents that, hey, we should be able to put our signs everywhere. So just remember, as you do open houses, pick them up after you're done.
I think the worst offenders are the new construction.
Yeah.
They have their open house signs up every single day. Like,
Yeah.
And
Because they have the model homes.
Ends up being, yeah, there's model homes, but it ends up being like, it's been there forever, nobody sees it anymore. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, another thing is, I do not do food at open houses. And you're saying, Jack, you're everything I've learned, you should do food at an open house. This is the reason why I don't do food at an open house. I have found out the people that eat the food are not the people that you want to talk to. They're just kind of eating the food. And then, I'll say this in a nice way, I try to use my charming personality to talk to the people. I don't need a cookie to have you stay. You say, Jack, man, but that food gets people talking. That's what you're for. You know what I'm saying? Try to you connect with them. If you do food, you can do food. But I've only done food a couple times, and to me, it becomes more of a hassle. And then you always you have the one people they come in and go, "Where's the cookies?" So you came to my open house for the cookies or for the house? And so that's the reason I don't do food, because man, I want to talk to just the serious people. I don't want I want to talk to the people who are serious about buying a home. And I can tell pretty quick in the conversation, are you serious about buying a home, or are you just kind of, are you just kind of there talking? And you will see it. You've seen it. It's happened to me. I'm talking to, like, say, Alexander, and he's excited about buying a house and everything like that. And I'm like all into it. And then you get Dean sees me talking to him, and he wants to buy a house, and he's going, oh, I'm gonna sneak out the door. So he sneaks out the door, and then Ashley there is like, oh, I'm gonna sneak out too. You ever notice this? The people that have agents, they stay longer. Because they will tell you eventually they're working with somebody. And so I want to talk to those people who are interested in buying a home. And that's Cookies, I try to, just talk to people and really get to know them. Because what'll happen is you never want anybody to sneak out. And the people that sneak out are the people that you probably should, really try to get and go after. So have you ever been bored at an open house? Ever done an open house and no one showed up?
Yep.
How many thought that was a big waste of time? Okay, let me just say this. When no one shows up to my open house, I get excited. You're saying, Jeff, what are you going to do for 2 to 3 hours? So let me ask you this. You're doing an open house, and I'll just pick on a lender. A lender comes in and talks to you for 2 hours, 3 hours. And you come back to the office, or you run into broker Dave on Monday. What's your name? Marissa. Marissa runs into broker Dave, and broker Dave says, Marissa, how was your open house on Saturday? Oh, Marissa goes, oh, broker Dave, I had the best time in my life. It was just unbelievable. And broker Dave says, Marissa, so how'd it go? What happened? She goes, oh, I talked to a lender for 2.5 hours. It was wonderful. It was great. What did you do for work before real estate? So anybody work for a company before they went into real estate? What did you do?
I was a chemist.
Chemist?
Shift and internship.
Okay, so you had like a work schedule every single day. You had to do so let me ask you, and what is your name again?
Get the go.
Okay, got it. Okay, she goes to work on Monday, and she had to work on Saturday. And so she goes to work on Monday, and her boss says, so how'd it go? What did you do on Saturday?